Is the kicker. Remember in the episode when we came back from New York, I was like, we went to a psychic and she told me either me or someone very close to me was about to become pregnant. That I went home right after and I took the pregnancy test and found out that I was pregnant. Welcome back to Three Girls, One Kitchen. We are so happy to be back this week. Once again, we're starting with the pop culture segment.
Would you like to start? Me.
Yes, that's you.
As I was putting on my lip gloss. So this week I wanted to start with how apparently, I don't know if you guys saw, Caitlyn Jenner.
When you just said apparently, it reminded me of that kid. Have you seen that YouTube video?
Oh,
it's like,
no.
Apparently, I'm on live TV. Apparently.
I did. Somebody sent me that because I think I say that word a lot.
Yeah, it just reminded me. The way that you said it too is like, apparently, I'm on live TV right now.
Actually, someone did send that to me and they're like, this is you. And I'm like, okay, love that.
Continue.
But yeah, Caitlyn Jenner is going to be running for the governor of California. Actually, it just came out, I think the past week maybe.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah. I guess there's like a whole, formed like a whole campaign team and everything already.
I haven't seen anything about this.
Yeah.
I saw it on TikTok, but
Wait,
I always
are you
look
sure
it up.
it's not fake news?
No, it's not. Because
Okay.
I looked into it as well, so I was a little thrown off that it's not so public.
What are her qualifications to become a governor, though? Does she have any political background?
She said one thing is that she's lived in California for 50 years, so she feels that she's known the state, very well, or maybe better than most professionals that are going to be running for a governor.
But does she have the leadership capability to help lead and make decisions for all the other people in California?
I mean, she probably believes so. I was just reading what her statement is.
Can you read it?
Yeah, it just says, California has been my home for nearly 50 years. I came here because I knew that anyone, regardless of their background or station in life, could turn their dreams into reality, which is true. That does happen in California. But for the past decade, we have seen the glimmer of the Golden State reduced to a one-party rule that places politics over progress and special interests over people. Sacramento needs an honest leader with, it kind of blinked, something vision. So I guess.
So she's targeting the faults of, who do we have now? Governor Newsom? Right? I think our governor is Governor Newsom. So a lot of people were upset. I could be wrong. I know there's like another one too. Not a big political person over here.
Yeah, same.
But I know a lot of people were complaining about him leaving us locked down for so long and all the restrictions that we had. So it seems like she's targeting that to try to appeal to the community.
And I know she did come out as Republican as well, which she said was like more scary.
She is very passionate about politics.
Yeah.
She's like a liberal, so she's very passionate.
Wait, you said she's Republican though.
I thought she said she was a liberal, but I don't.
I just saw how it was a video of her saying coming out as a Republican was like one of the scariest things, like even scarier than when she said she was like gonna.
I could
transition.
see that because people would probably expect her to be a liberal or a Democrat just based off, that she seems, out of the box. But I think it's fine to, go in the opposite direction and.
Yeah. I mean, it's good to stay true to who you are and not be scared and just say what people want you to say.
Like Kanye knowing that he was going to get a lot of hate and wearing the MAGA hat.
Yeah.
Oh, was that when everyone... I didn't look at what that was, but is that why everyone was saying he's wearing a bag on his face? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Oh.
During this whole past year, Kanye was a known supporter of Trump. I think he went and talked to him at the White House. So did Kim. Kanye used to wear a MAGA hat, and so many people were angry with him about it because they
I'm dumb. I
say
just
Donald
realized
Trump
what
is
you
a
just
is a
said.
racist.
Yeah.
Yeah, MAGA hat.
Yeah,
It's
make America great again. Yeah. Okay, it took me a second. I thought you were talking about because for some reason I kept seeing it pop up that over the weekend he went out with a bag on his face, and I didn't understand that one.
Yeah, I think he wears full face coverings.
Yeah.
When he goes out. But I mean, he has to, especially with the divorce and everything going on right now. He would just be attacked.
True.
But yeah, I mean, going back to celebrities running for political positions, I don't know. I don't know if I feel indifferent about it because I mean, one thing is that she is part of the celebrity culture and influencer world. So she does understand our types of jobs better here in California. So like, you know how, for instance, you guys said our governor currently had been very strict on our COVID rules. And, you know, it's hurt a lot of people here as models, you know, influencers, YouTubers, because they're not able to go out and film. And that is part of their job. Like, this is our culture in California. And, you know, that's something she does understand, and she is up to date with it because her family is in the spotlight. But then yet again, I also don't believe that people should be running for a position like that when there's others who have been passionate about this their entire life, who have gone to school, you know, who have taken economics. You know, this is something that they've actually grown up wanting to do. And I don't feel like it's necessarily right for a celebrity to just all of a sudden think that they want to run for governor, you know?
But we don't know. Maybe this is something that's like been in the works for a while, or even as a kid, like maybe it's something that these celebrities have been wanting to do and they feel like now is the time and the chance. You know, maybe they wanted to do both things. I have no idea.
Going back to Olivia's point, I have to disagree because even though LA is a very small part of California as a whole, so most of the people who do work in California, they are not part of our community. We are a very small population in California. The rest have 9 to 5 jobs. And so, yes, she might know what's better for us, you know, part of the creator community and part of the model community. But there's so many other people in California that we don't know. If you drive 30, 40 minutes outside of LA, it's a completely different world.
But that's why I have
diverse.
my counter argument is that I'm saying, you know, I personally don't think it's right. And I don't know if you guys know who, I believe his name is Bill Maher. He has like a show.
Or is it Bill Maher?
I'm not sure. Maher.
I think I've heard of Bill Maher before.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but correct me if I'm wrong. But he is actually very upset about there's a few celebrities like Dwayne Johnson. He was making like jokes and talking about like running for president, and it's actually really funny because they took a poll and 46% of Americans said they would want him to run as president. Yeah, so he was flattered because he was just like, I don't even see myself, but if the people want it, I would be honored or I'd be willing to take on the position. But no, like you shouldn't, because
I feel like it takes away from serious candidates that people should be focusing on.
Yeah, and so Bill was basically just stating that, you know, how have people not seen that this is a nightmare? These people are just acting out as narcissists, because have we not witnessed Donald Trump in our, you know, office and what he had done, that this wasn't anything that was inspiring. This was, he was basically saying that the last 4 years was a warning. It was not an inspiration. You know, like this should have been a caution that Donald Trump, as a former celebrity, like the influencer, you know, spotlight guy coming out to be a president, and now all these other influencers and celebrities are thinking that they can handle on the position or take on the position as well.
You do have to give, I'm not a Donald Trump supporter by any means, but he did have better credentials than these other celebrities or influencers. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, well, he's a former entrepreneur. Like, he's a business guy. So
he was a huge in the business world. Huge.
Yeah, so I wasn't offended by that. I was like, I understand. He's been in this, you know, business lifestyle for quite some time, so.
I mean, I just believe if you're going to be serious about it and take it, like, you know, give your 110, 120%, even if you are a celebrity, some people become celebrities really young and they don't really know what they want to do with their life. And as they get older, they may want to be into politics and stuff, and they can't take back that they're a celebrity. So if they're going to give their full all in their effort and, you know, 110% and try to do what's right, then obviously who am I to say that they shouldn't do it?
Yeah, I think, you know, it would take more time to build up that credibility. Like, they should go and shadow other politicians that they have similar beliefs with, or they should be part of campaigns. They should go and get that experience before they're like, oh, I'm going to become the next governor.
Yeah, that's just like a big step.
Yeah, it's really jumping the gun.
On a more light note of celebrities, they are, on a lighter
Speaking
note.
of celebrities.
I don't know if you guys watch Riverdale. I know you don't watch Riverdale.
I don't either. Well, I think I've seen a few episodes. I know, like,
a big Riverdale girl. Actually, I haven't watched the season, but KJ Apa and his girlfriend recently came out saying that she's pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So it's super exciting. There's also what I was excited about is Halsey's pregnant as well.
Is she really?
Yes.
Wait, who's she even dating? I'm so far behind on this.
I forgot. I think kind of like a I might be wrong, director, someone more of like behind the scenes in a way. I forgot. I'd never heard of him.
Have you seen the pregnancy rumors, one with Kourtney Kardashian? I guess she made a post that made people think that she was pregnant with, who's her boyfriend, Travis Barker from Blink 182.
Oh, yeah.
And then people were also making predictions about Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly, saying that, what was it that they did? I think it's because his hand was on her stomach in a picture or something. And then because she's super into astrology, astrologists went in and like picked things apart. And they're like, oh yeah, she'll be expecting a girl soon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That's insane.
And she already has kids too, doesn't she?
So does he.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's look at the Kourtney Kardashian post and see what we think of it.
Yeah, because I didn't see the
let's
Kourtney
pull it up.
Kardashian
I saw it
one.
on TikTok. Actually, I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram, but.
So it's a slide. And
Oh wait, it's this one because they were like, she
and it
looks
says
pregnant.
Pinkalicious, and it wasn't even necessarily that. It's because this is a little different. She was posting.
Oh wait, here, yeah,
everything pink and like her sister being pregnant, hers a child, things like that.
And then she also posted a Christmas tree with a
Kind
cradle.
of like foreshadowing that she might be.
Yeah, and then people were saying that she looked a little bit, puffy in the
Which is just so
original
mean
selfie.
for people to assume. Like,
Yeah.
can you
But I
imagine?
mean, maybe she is making a hint. What are your opinions on this slide? Look at it. So just go all the way down.
Yeah. I mean, no, I saw, like, I was looking over what you guys said, but I just wanted to see the last photo that
I think
posted
the,
the dead.
I think the only
the
thing
cradle
Oh,
and it's
that's
not
weird.
Christmas time.
Is-
Yeah,
That is weird. Why would she put her being pregnant?
Well,
from a while
apparently
back?
she came. So the one thing for me that makes it like, oh, she's pregnant is the tree and then the little baby
Uh-huh.
thing. But see, I just said apparently again.
Apparently, she's pregnant on live television.
She came out and said she was just posting things that had the color pink in it. It was doing a pink theme.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Christmas tree being addressed.
Seems
but
a little
everything else.
seems a little sus. And then also there's like a baby hand reaching into this plate.
The cake.
Oh, man, we're going really into a detective mode. I don't
seems
know.
sus.
I couldn't really, I couldn't say that she is just because, if she wasn't a celebrity, we wouldn't be sitting here nitpicking her Instagram photos. It could be simply she had stated that she just wanted to post something that had pink in it. But
Wait,
yet again, this could be her just dropping hints and foreshadowing,
I have another question. Isn't she supposed to be really into health? Doesn't eat gluten?
that was a huge
There's
thing.
a picture of her eating French fries from McDonald's right here, which go off, eat whatever you
Yeah.
want. I just thought that it was chocolates. I thought that it was a huge
Cravings.
thing that she eats very healthy. So this might be another sign.
Well, also it was someone brought that up because they're like, wow, Travis must make this woman so happy. Look how happy she is. She's eating McDonald's fries when she had her own kids Candyland birthday party with no candy there. She was anti everything. But when
Yeah,
you're
I
with
think she
someone
likes
and
a
you're
nightmare.
I
they're
think she,
happy
makes
and
A
her-
Candyland party with no candy.
she makes or is sugar-free candy. I think
Yeah.
she makes her own almond milk too. She's very into her
Wow.
health
I didn't know
and
that.
gluten-free lifestyle and stuff like that.
she's very, very cautious about what she eats and puts in her body. So a lot of people were saying that she was just happy in love. They were like, that this man made her so happy she's eating McDonald's French fries and didn't care.
God, or he's
Yeah.
just a bad influence.
I actually ate McDonald's French fries the other night, but I only had a few.
I hate when you're on a really good path on your diet or eating super healthy, and then you get a new partner who doesn't have those same healthy habits, and they drag you back down with
or
them.
they eat a lot or
Yeah.
just as much as you
Mhm.
do.
And
Every
then
night
you're
they're
so
let's
hard on
order milkshakes, and it's I can't live this way.
Yeah, cookies and donuts 24/7.
God.
Yeah, been there.
So what's next?
Oh, speaking of love and relationships, you say that Friends had a reunion.
Did you ever watch Friends? Or is it
I
just
did.
me?
I mean, I did a little bit, but I was never heavily invested in it. You know?
I stan Rachel and Ross. And Ross actually made a pros and cons list about Rachel, and she was very pissed.
So I've obviously seen the show, but every morning, it's a fun fact, every morning I go downstairs, I have my coffee and I put on Friends, it's on TV. So every day I'm watching new episodes of Friends not new, but repeat
Yeah.
episodes of Friends. But they came out with their reunion and I kind of was a little disappointed just because it was just them sitting there talking. I didn't watch it fully through. It was pretty long. I think it was an hour and 45 minutes, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But what I loved the most, and it makes me giddy inside, is Ross and Rachel in real life had they had a thing for each other in
Really?
real life,
Really?
and they channeled it into the show. So they both admitted to having crushes on each other and liking each other, but they never off camera. They never went about it. They didn't want to cross that boundary or cross that line in
Yeah.
real life.
Wow.
So Jennifer Aniston, and I honestly don't remember his real name. in real life they had crushes on each other and they just channeled it and used it when they were acting. So how we were always in love with them and we could tell that they were like special is because they actually
really
liked each
felt
other.
for each other. Yeah, I mean, usually a lot of times movie actors end up dating if they have a serious role or if they're on a show for years. They're gonna eventually end up together because that chemistry, like, you know, you have to have it on camera. It's gonna become real.
Once you fake it for so long, you start to actually think you like this person, like when you're fake dating.
And that was sort of the story plot in Friends as well, that they liked each other, but for some reason it just never worked out and they couldn't be together till the end. And I think Rachel ended up having Ross's baby, which is super cute. So what did you think about the reunion?
So, like I said, other than that, I didn't watch the full thing, but it was nice to just see everyone all get together and they all seem like they're still super close and they really enjoyed their time together. There wasn't like any bad blood between anyone. You know, they all just seemed like a genuinely happy supportive team.
You know who I want to make a reunion? So for me, I'm not as, trust me, I've watched lots of Friends. But for me, what I watch every night is Grey's Anatomy. I would love a Grey's Anatomy reunion.
I haven't seen that, but I've been told I
You need
should.
to
Yeah,
into
I
it.
watched a
It's
few.
so
It's like
good.
very like drama
So good.
series. Yeah.
Yeah, there's always someone dying,
Yeah,
someone
like,
cheating,
yeah.
someone having sex. It's crazy.
It's like a soap opera, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
It's no, it's not as
Not as
over-
corny,
The
but
acting is the acting
acting's
isn't
good.
corny, but there is a lot going on.
Yeah.
Soap operas are just something else.
Also a little bit off topic, but over the past week, I watched a TED Talk and I learned something that was actually pretty insane. So I already knew, I don't know if you guys knew, how you act and your energy can reflect on others. So if you're in a bad mood and you're around people, you will kind of bring down their mood. But if you're around people and you're happy and you're smiling, like, you know, it rubs off on other people.
It's contagious.
Yeah, so it's always nice to, always be happy, positive. If you're in a bad mood, don't go around people. But
What was the name of it? The TED Talk.
You are contagious.
You are contagious. Okay.
The crazy part is they took sweat pads from people that went skydiving. So like their sweat and then sweat from people that worked out. And they had people sniff them and they were in the machine and the people didn't know what they were smelling. And the people that sniffed the skydiving, they're like, their fear in their brain kind of, I forgot what it's called. Whatever in their brain that reacts to fear, it kind of went off just from smelling the sweat pad.
Like the flight or fight.
Like the anxiety.
It lit basically the anxiety portion of their brain lit up.
Yeah. From smelling the sweat pads of people that went skydiving, and when they smelled the sweat of people that worked out, nothing happened. So not only do you you're smiling, you're laughing, your mood or whatever is contagious, but even your sweat. If people smell
like
your
body
sweat, because if you think about it, if you're walking on the street and you see someone that's coming towards you and they look scared about something, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like you're gonna get like that too. But I had never known that someone's sweat can affect your mood and who you are as a person.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely experienced that. Just I could be in a great mood and I feel amazing and fine. And then certain people come in and it's like, I feel weird now, you know?
Yeah.
Another interesting thing, because I had actually seen this TED Talk a while back too in school. I had to watch a lot of it. So they had asked, what is the first thing that you guys notice about a person? And typically people would say eyes or mouth. And apparently it's not. It's actually the hands. And this goes back to caveman times. So back in the days, people that would encounter others would look at their hands to see if they're carrying a weapon, because that's how they would determine whether they are a friend or a foe. So we actually still till this day have that instilled in us. And I know the lady that gave this TED Talk speech, she was presenting something visually on the TED Talk where she had put her hands away. And, she basically said that the brain tells us if we can't see hands, we can't see intention. So she played a little brain trick on everyone that she constantly had her hands, and eventually you would notice that you would actually get irritated in your brain thinking like, I just want to see her hands. Like, what is she doing back there? Like, let me see her hands. So I actually thought about it and thinking like, I would say I always see people's eyes, but then I actually do remember thinking I do notice people's hands. That actually is a thing that I always look at. I don't know why, but I guess it kind of makes sense.
I feel like I only notice people's hands when it's maybe a new person that I'm seeing, like a guy, and I want to see if they're nervous. So I look at their hand positions or where they have them placed to be able to tell if the guy is nervous, because usually people don't know what to do with their hands when they're nervous. This one guy I was seeing one time, his arm was like all twisted up in a weird position. And I was like, wow, he is so nervous right now.
I couldn't imagine your intention.
That's the only time I can think about me actually observing where someone's hand placement was.
Another thing too, what people do, if you're like this, you're more closed off and you'd be scared.
You're less
and
welcoming.
whatnot. So I feel like whenever I'm either stressed out or nervous or something, if I'm waiting in line or whatever, I do tend to be like this. And I'm like, oh yeah, like that's why people are looking at me funny. I look like I'm like being a psycho right here in the corner.
Like you're pissed.
So I'm like, start to do things like that. But you don't really notice until you watch and someone shows you pay attention to others' behaviors like that.
Yeah, that's very true. But I mean, I was going to say, speaking of like behaviors and smiling is contagious, I wanted to go into, my topic, obviously, the sex, dating, and relationships. So something that I've been recently self-reflecting on is self-sabotaging relationships, or just in general when you're seeing someone. And basically, I feel like it's common sense, but for some that don't know, so it's just when you're actively trying to ruin your own relationship or make it fall apart, whether it is consciously or subconsciously. And it's basically a fear of intimacy. And, I think for me, I actually have this as such a bad habit in my life from past like childhood trauma and fear of intimacy, is that I actually do it subconsciously without even knowing. Like I act out. So, a lot of times people ask, well, why do people do this? One of the biggest reasons is low self-esteem and self-worth, according to Maggie Danzel. She's actually a clinical therapist or a psychologist. So she basically explains and says that, it's when you're worried that your partner may like you a lot, or that you have the fear of your partner leaving you, so you subconsciously act out or push them away because you don't want to feel the sting of rejection. And, another thing is stirring up drama, unnecessary drama, something I'm very guilty of. That's another sign of self-sabotage, is stirring up relationship drama, that it's a way for us or the person to keep the other person around. And it's when they feel like they can't do better or can't get better. So they are seeking out attention, whether it is a connection, attention, reactions, affection, and it could be positive, but it could also be negative. That's something that I'm learning and I've been self-reflecting on. I had a big argument recently, or a fight with someone, and I had noticed that I was self-sabotaging the relationship, and I had noticed that my way of seeing or having fear of intimacy and seeing if someone cares about me is stirring up drama relationship by seeing if I can get a reaction out of them to show me that they actually care about me, by being like, oh, well, like if you don't come outside and this or that, then I'll never talk to you again. Or, like if you don't answer my phone calls, you'll never hear from me again. So those are signs and traits of self-sabotaging. Yeah, because subconsciously, or actually consciously, you're hoping that they're gonna come run after you and show the effort and do the above and beyond. Yeah, because you're already picking at the relationship in the beginning when you feel like it's going so well that you subconsciously think that they don't care about you. So that's why you lash out and react in that manner. Well, it's obviously not a good thing, but it is slightly a good thing that you've noticed that you've been doing this. Even before this whole situation, you called me a few weeks ago saying how you didn't want to self-sabotage, that you were scared. But that's good that you were aware, and we try to talk it out and figure out ways. But obviously things happen. But the best thing is being aware and knowing that you're doing these things and figuring out why, and that way you don't do it again in the future. Because most people are so unaware. They just would act crazy and think it's normal and do all these things and never realize that they might have been at fault, and they're always going to put the blame on someone else. So it's really good that, you are realizing that you might have been at fault, but we don't know. I don't think that she needs to take 100% responsibility for everything that happened. If you're upset over something, there probably is something, whether it's small and maybe your reaction was too big for the action, your reaction was too big for it, intensified. But I don't think you're 100% to blame. And it's really easy now after the fact to think oh, I did this and this wrong because you ended up getting hurt and things didn't go the way that you wanted. So now you're self-internalizing and thinking that you did so much wrong. And I honestly don't know if you really did. Sure, some things in the situation I think you could have handled a little bit better, which takes experience. You're in a situation that you haven't really been in before.
I don't know. I think you're being too hard on yourself, though.
Well, I mean, I think one of the most important things, especially in self-sabotaging, and like I don't want to, go off of my personal experience. Like I genuinely do think that this is a very important thing for people to be educated on because a lot of us do tend to self-sabotage, in the slightest way. But like another thing that goes into self-sabotaging is your childhood trauma and fear of intimacy. And fear of intimacy, it stems from a parental history of childhood trauma, whether it's physical, emotional, or sexual abuse. And because, early trusting relationships with the parents or even a significant other prior were broken by this type of abuse, that, people who fear intimacy believe that people who will love them or love them too much are going to leave them at their vulnerable moment or at the vulnerable stage. And, as they get older as adults, they now have the power to leave or end something, even if it's not necessarily an abusive relationship, because they fear that, once again, that person who's going to care about them or love them is going to leave them at a very vulnerable state.
So pretty much they're just trying to end it or be the one in control so that they're not getting their heart broken and they're not the ones being left.
Yeah,
so
like blindsided. Pretty much,
so they like to, I feel like a lot of people do that, even subconsciously, is they want to ruin the relationship, so then they feel like it was them doing it and not them getting broken up with or left.
Exactly. And, I definitely have past childhood trauma. I grew up without a dad for 9 years and had to watch my own mother struggle and cry every single day, feel unloved, that she could never find someone else. I had a first ex that was a very traumatic experience for me. I had mentioned prior to one of the podcasts that I had tried killing myself. Because of that, I was very much in love with him. He took my virginity. So he left me blindsided. He broke up with me out of nowhere. And that hurt me and broke me so bad that I think internally and subconsciously now, as I get older, I've noticed a pattern with a lot of guys that I start seeing or dating. It's within a certain amount of time that I self-sabotage by me being the one to end things or get in the fight, because then I know that I'm in control and I'm in the wrong. The reason why we ended things is because of me, not because of them,
Another thing that I want to talk about, which you sort of brought up with her, was that I have noticed as well, is that you always you're always looking for a reaction. Even after you end a talking stage or a relationship with someone, you always say, oh, I need to message them and get closure. I personally think that you do it because you want to get a reaction out of them. You don't need someone else's approval to get closure. And I used to be the same way when I was a little bit younger, but as I've gotten older, I'm just able to naturally move on. And so I don't know how to help you with that, but I want to get you to the point where you don't need that approval or reaction from someone to move on. And also in those situations, like you were saying, I want him to prove his love to me by leaving the club for me or telling these girls to be nice to me. I want you to get to a place where you don't need that from him. I mean,
it all takes time, but one of much of the reasoning behind someone also self-sabotaging is actually, it has to do with their attachment style. So there's two types of attachment styles that correlate with self-sabotaging. It's the anxious attachment, which is what I have, and it's basically just a desire to have and want intimacy, but you fear rejection because of your experiences in abandonment during your childhood, or even during a relationship in the past. And the other one is avoidant attachment, which is you're avoiding closeness and intimacy because your childhood taught you to be self-sufficient. Maybe you grew up without a father figure and your mom taught you to be tough and have tough skin and you don't need a man in your life. So that could also, delay commitment or demonstrate a dismissive nature. So,
and you know what's so interesting about attachment style? Anxious attachment styles and avoidant attachment styles usually attract each other, which is a horrible match because the anxious is not going to get what they need and the avoidant is going to be overwhelmed by the anxious. I wouldn't really say I'm an anxious attachment style. My ex definitely tried to make me feel that way in some situations, but I think a lot of that was gaslighting and manipulating. But he definitely was avoidant, and it just doesn't go. And so I don't know. I think in this situation, and a lot of girls, if things don't work out with the guy that they really like, they will go down the route of blaming themselves like you are. I think the guy also has issues. And I think a lot of times the guys do things to upset the girls, and it's not all the woman's fault.
Yeah.
No, it's never just one person.
Yeah. And I know you had mentioned earlier, like, you know, your ex was gaslighting you. So I wanted to actually go into some of the warning signs or just signs in general of self-sabotaging a relationship or someone that you're seeing, just because I do feel like it's important to be self-aware. And, you know, some of them are, you know, not addressing negative emotions. So for me, I've noticed, I don't know if it's with you guys, but if I have an issue with someone, whether it's the slightest little thing or if it's a big issue, I try to avoid it and I refuse to address it because I hate confrontation, and I have this fear in my mind that if I address it, they're going to. Like,
I think you're complete opposite.
Yeah,
you
Alexa's
are overly
face right now.
address it.
I'm like, you have screamed in my face before.
No, not
no
necessarily
reason.
that. I actually, you and I always talk separately too, and I always say, like, no matter what the situation is, you need to not address it. So I think that was completely opposite.
Yeah, I think you are the
obviously
opposite. Really.
overly, like, not being mean, but like dramatic and very
No,
anything
but
that
I think I
happens,
don't
you
address
freak
it.
out.
I think
No, but you
sometimes
do.
I think sometimes with me, because we started out with Olivia working for me, and you know, I sort of you know, I've done a lot like work wise for you, and so I feel sometimes she might avoid things with me, like if she wants
Yeah.
to say something or
no, I complain to you guys, but I definitely
like-
avoid a lot of things. Like, you know, in the past relationship that I was seeing someone, there were a few things that were bothering me with them, and I never brought them up because I was too scared, or I was like, oh, it's not a big issue. But I let it bottled up. So the night that we went out, it all fucking just hit the fan. You know, that's what happened, is because I was bottling up all the things that were bothering me, and I still was not fully recovered, and I didn't know how to properly express my emotions in a way that it's not going to cause a fight, you know. But, you know, moving forward, another thing is extreme paranoia. You're constantly suspecting that your significant other or your partner is cheating on you without any hard evidence, or you're constantly having the fear that they will leave you. So it's basically a projection of your own fears and anxieties. You know, criticizing your partner constantly. Another thing that I noticed was engaging in unhealthy behavior. So this is something that actually kind of scared me, because this is me. This is actually me.
oh God,
You know, so it's eating poorly, drinking excessively, smoking excessively, and basically just overall not taking care of your body or yourself sometimes. It's actually a very major sign of self-sabotaging in a relationship, because these behaviors function as a coping mechanism, and sometimes they're used as a scapegoat to avoid the actual issue. So therefore, you're making an excuse of, oh, I was drunk, I was intoxicated, that's why I lashed out, or that's why I acted the way that I did. So that kind of like stuck with me, and I was like, that's definitely me. Like that, I use that as my defense mechanism.
It's crazy because like I like redhead a little, but I'm reading all these, and that's all of these are exactly what the guy that I just recently dated did every single one of these.
That's
things.
why I wanted to bring this up.
Every single one of these things, always, no matter what I did, I would breathe. You're cheating on me. You're always texting someone else. Like,
Yes.
obviously, was not into fitness, ate poorly.
He was constantly criticizing you for your Instagram photos, like even when you didn't deserve it.
putting energy into everything else and unrealistic, like
Holding grudges.
Every single one, not keeping all small problems, everything. Every single one of these, I'm like, wow, okay. So
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring this up in the podcast, because I feel like your past relationship with, you know, your ex, he self-sabotaged it. And I had noticed that because you guys were doing so great, and I felt like he just kept nitpicking things at you, like, you know, making excuses, or I noticed that he was putting in way more work into his career than you. I just felt like that was an excuse because he was avoiding problems and, you know, putting energy into everything except your relationship. When you're basically like hyper-focused on work, other projects, hang out with friends, you're basically making an excuse and putting in your head that you don't have time to fix an issue because you're too busy, you know?
My biggest problem with him, which I realized after the relationship was over for you two, was that I personally think that he needs to do a lot of self-work before he gets into a new relationship because of the insecurity of not wanting you to post pictures, the insecurity of thinking that you're always texting other people or that you're cheating. And I know that you were very committed to him and a good girlfriend. You're always like ordering cookies for him. Like everything was just all about him. And so I don't think in that situation either that it was anything that you were doing wrong. I think it was an insecurity in him that he needs to fix before he jumps into another relationship, because that's not fair to do to someone.
Yeah. I know. When you told me about that when you had this talk with me after, I'm like, thank you. I really needed that.
And the things that he was saying and doing were just coming out really nasty, which shows the intention is to hold you down because of his insecurities.
And that's something that other girls should hear as well. Like you saying that's really good for other girls to hear if they were like me, because for a while I thought like something that I was
doing something wrong.
Yeah, and that I was this person that he was telling me that I was, and now I'm realizing that I'm not that person.
Yeah.
You know, so it is really good for the listeners to hear, girls and guys.
Yeah. But another thing is, like not keeping small promises. I know you said you can relate to that, but this is a sign of self-sabotaging. It's where you basically just can't keep a promise, whether it's coming home on time or like at a certain time, you're breaking that promise, whether it's you're breaking promises that you can't spend quality time with your significant other. And, what you're doing is you're actually training your partner to start to resent you, So if you're not spending quality time with them, or you're making excuses why they can't, or, oh, well, I have this cookout, or we have dinner with our friends, or this and that, and you can't make quality time for someone that you're seeing, they're going to start to subconsciously resent you because they feel like you don't care about them, and another thing was giving up on sex. So, it's very normal for couples to have issues, or there's going to be phases of lackluster sex, but it's so important to communicate and not telling your partner if you're frustrated in the bedroom or like you're not fully satisfied. That's going to cause frustration, resentment. And also it's what's going to happen is a term called the grass is greener syndrome. So it's basically where someone is going to wonder if something else is better out there for them. And, you don't want to get to that stage. And another big thing is using the silent treatment. It's one of the most toxic communication traits that anyone could have, whether it's just a trait in general or whether it's a self-sabotaging trait. But it's something that, it's a huge no-no. It's a poor communication skill, and you don't want to give someone the silent treatment or refusing to talk to them when they're trying to express their feelings, whether you're angry, no matter how angry you are, like, don't give someone the silent treatment. For instance, with me, like leaving the club, I don't care how drunk the other guy was. I know for a fact he was giving me the silent treatment and ignoring my 20 missed calls because I couldn't function to give myself an Uber because he was equally as angry as I was and he was very intoxicated, but he was giving me the silent treatment. And that's a huge poor communication skill.
Yeah, no, I've had someone in the past who I was dating ignore me straight to my face when I'm upset and then write stuff in their notes about me. It was the most infuriating thing. It just makes you so angry when you're just trying to talk about how you feel and someone ignores you right in front of your face. They just sit there and act like you're not talking and they write in the notes about you. I was so mad.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
I'm really good at being quiet and not being mean about things. Like, I won't cuss and yell at someone, but if I'm upset about something, I will address them and I'm feeling this way. Can we talk about it? And if someone ignores me and they're like, no, I don't want to talk about it, that's when I get mad. I never get mad, but if you're refusing to speak or even listen to what I'm upset
it's just
about,
an ignorant thing to do.
Yeah,
because you only care about your own feelings and not someone else's.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was with someone who I would be like, why was your arm around this girl at dinner? And he would instantly invalidate what I was upset about. And I'm just trying to talk to you about it calmly, not yelling at you like, why is your fucking arm around her? I'm just like, hey, like, I thought that was kind of inappropriate. And he would instantly shut down the conversation, either ignore me or tell me that, I'm crazy. I get upset too often. I should only worry about things if he's cheating on me or beating me.
So that's a form of gaslighting. So that's another sign or warning of self-sabotage is, gaslighting is actually a form of emotional abuse. And it's where you don't care about others' feelings but your own, and you are actually blaming your partner and validating that it's their fault that they're upset and not yours.
I could give you a whole list of things
girl,
that
I know.
gaslighting people will say to you.
And, looking for an exit, that's another sign. You are avoiding anything that's going to be more of a serious commitment by maybe like moving in with them, meeting the family, meeting their friends or other people in their life. So it's like if things go wrong, how can you extricate easily from the relationship?
Oh, there was something also that you said that I wanted to ask you about. Oh, you were talking about, so going back to your situation that happened this weekend, the thing that upset me the most was the fact that you had drinking too much at the dinner and then you had drinking too much at the club. And I don't care, Olivia, if you punched this man in the face, you acted absolutely insane. This man let her walk out of the club falling over. She's texting me like, I don't know where I am right now. I cannot even understand her text messages. He lets her leave the club by herself, go outside in Hollywood, which there's so many creepy men. I can't tell you when I was younger how many creepy men wait outside the club for girls to come out who are drunk. They pretend to be their Uber.
I've had that happen to me.
They offer to give them a ride and bad things happen.
I honestly don't even know how I found that Uber. That was like,
It just, honestly, that's the worst thing out of the whole situation, which I think really shows this man's character, that he let you leave the club by yourself, didn't make sure that you got a ride, didn't make sure that you got home safe, and didn't text you and be like, hey, are you okay the next day or anything. Like, I don't care if he wants to ghost you. He never wants to see you again. He should have made sure that you got home safe. I had to call her an Uber. I had to make sure that she got in it. Like, she couldn't even text at this point. Like, what is this man thinking? Letting a girl who's literally about to fall over and die in a ditch go outside by herself.
Yeah, I've had random so how you said someone's pretending to be an Uber. I think I've told you that story. I was really drunk in a club. I was leaving, and a random stranger noticed that someone was trying to pretend to be my Uber and saved me from getting in a random car. A random guy that I don't know. So the fact that this is a guy that you were like seeing and dating, I also don't agree with that. And that's just a respect thing. And it shows, is he like a 17-year-old boy? Obviously he's not, but he was acting like it in that way.
Not even it just that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if he actually hated you and if you did something absolutely crazy and you were acting like a psycho. He could have at least put you in the car and then said peace out. Yeah. And the fact that he didn't do that,
it just shows such a disregard. And this was someone that you were sleeping with and dating. Like, it seemed like it was going to be very serious. It just shows such a disregard for like human life and you as a person and someone that he slept with. I'm like, how could you treat her like that?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious what the audience thinks about this, because I personally just think it's very like, I don't want to say. Because as a woman, I would, if I saw you on the street and I didn't know you, I would offer to call you an Uber. Like, you've seen me do that before for girls. Yeah. I don't want to say it's like he's not a man for doing that, because women do that for other women. Like, I don't even know what you are if you don't give enough fucks about someone that you had sex with and were supposed to care about. Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah. But, you know, like I said, I did a lot of self-reflecting, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about self-sabotaging. And, you know, I just want everyone to know, first of all, like, self-sabotaging is completely understandable and a lot of people go through it. And the first thing to, you know, helping yourself out is being self-aware and reflecting and understanding that, you know, you can seek a therapist, or even if you're already in a relationship and this is going on, you guys can seek counseling, therapy for couples. Yeah. And, you know, it's good, because if you do realize that this is a pattern that you have in your life, and we do tend to repeat bad habits because it becomes a familiar cycle. You know, and if you are taking a step back and you are self-aware that this is the same pattern that I'm seeing in every relationship I'm going into, it's okay to go seek a therapist, because you might be unpacking some of your own life experiences that, you know, might be affecting how you are actually walking into a relationship, you know, or also just working on your attachment style and knowing your attachment styles, whether you're anxious or avoidant. And, you know, if you are able to understand the way that your partner works and acts in their attachment style, it's going to help you, you know, to reframe from the action of sabotaging to a pattern of, you know, creating based on relationship or family history. And, you know, once again, just taking responsibility, acknowledging your role in the damaging relationship, you know, tackling on these problems means that you're going to have to be willing to be vulnerable and recognize that you are going to have to face rejection, and you are going to have to fear or face, your abandonment issues from your past life or from your previous childhood. And I think it's really important that just reflecting and being self-aware of these issues is going to help you like move forward and be the best version of yourself going into another relationship.
Also, so getting a therapist, I think, is a great idea, because say there's a gaslighter and a narcissist in the relationship, or someone with narcissistic qualities, and then you are someone who is self-sabotaging, or the gaslighter is trying to convince you that you're self-sabotaging and that it's all you. It's great to have do the couples therapy, and if you feel like any of this is going on in your relationship, because then you have someone who's in the middle ground who can say, okay, this person was in the wrong for this, you were in the wrong for that, I think you are self-sabotaging, or this person is telling you that you're self-sabotaging when they're actually the one doing things wrong. So I think it's very important to have middle ground if you're in that type of relationship. Or if you feel like you are self-sabotaging, go and get an expert's opinion, because sometimes it really is the other person that is the problem. And sometimes it could be you and your experiences in the past making you act a certain type of way.
Or it could be both, you know, it could be both. You could both be actually self-sabotaging, or you have different attachment styles, you know. I feel like in my experience, I want to look back at it and say, okay, well, this is what I did wrong, but this is what he also did wrong. And if he can't come to forgive me for this incident, even though it was very big, and understand if I'm speaking, you know, being honest, hey, like that was out of character, you know, I would never intend to act that way around you or with you. You know, there was obviously a lot of feelings and emotion and tension going on. Granted, I'm not going to, you know, blame the alcohol, but that was a huge factor of why, you know, I was very, very emotionally intensified. But, you know, if you can take a step back and understand that someone is working on self-sabotaging and moving forward, you know, they can work on that, then that's great. But if he can't, then that just means that he is just an egotistical narcissist who was love bombing me and doesn't really care about me, because he clearly didn't care to put me in a car.
If he cared, he would have made sure that you were okay. That's why I just think he's not the one. And I told you, like, please don't reach out to him. If he wants to reach out to you, then respond. But girl, you don't need closure. You can get closure by yourself. So I don't want to hear that excuse for why you're texting him.
Okay.
So you were obviously very sad about what happened the other night. And we all met up the next day. I obviously needed the tea on what happened. Like, how can I make you feel better?
And gosh, she made my day. I just want to interrupt you to say that. I actually started crying because you surprised me with fan art. And it was so pretty.
We had an artist come and bring a painting of the three of us. You weren't here.
We'll have to show
It's
them.
in my trunk. You need it.
Yeah.
So all of us girls, Alexa was an OC, but we had all our other friends as well meet up for brunch and take Olivia out and try to cheer her up. I mean, she was looking really depressed the whole time. I'm like, please, like, what can
I
I
had
do?
a great weekend, so I'm fine.
Yeah. And so the drinking started early at brunch. And then we went to a little bar after, and then we went to the Grove, and you all were drinking the whole time. I was actually not drinking, which was weird. Just being around you guys, and I was like being the mom, like driving you guys around. Do you want to go to the Cheesecake Factory? So the reason why I'm not drinking is because I am having a baby. Yes.
I was like waiting for someone.
Like the production crew.
That you're like,
Yes.
The one day you guys have like no one here. It's just like you two.
anyway.
So this is the kicker. Remember in the episode when we came back from New York, I was like, we went to a psychic and she told me either me or someone very close to me was about to become pregnant. That I went home right after and I took the pregnancy test and found out that I was pregnant.
And it's so random too, because I remember you doing it because we were like going out, like we were having fun, girls' night, and she comes home with like 2 pregnancy tests, and I'm just like, huh? Like,
I remember, we were all just sitting in the bedroom, and she came out. I thought it was a prank.
Yeah, I thought it was most
I was like,
random,
you're fucking with me. This is fake. You painted that on
random
there. I'm
out
so
of the blue.
confused.
Yeah, I'm just like, why would she get that?
And they were like, oh, sweetie, don't cry. And I'm like, I'm happy right now.
Yeah, we were crying. We were like, don't cry. And she was like,
I'm so happy right now. And so even like not being able to drink and, you know, in this situation, I sort of realized you guys also were like, you're so young. Like, are you sure you want to do this? And I just feel like lately going out, partying, drinking, and like it's all great and fun, but I wasn't finding it super fulfilling. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love you guys. I love hanging out with you.
I never do it.
But yeah, I mean, we go out sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like this is the next step for me in my life. And I've had miscarriages in the past when I was pregnant, which is super common when I was married. I mean, we were trying for a baby and I had miscarriages. It's super common. About 20% of pregnancies end in miscarriage. And it has nothing to do with what you eat or how you take care of yourself. It is usually a chromosomal defect. So the baby is never meant to grow to full term. So having that in the past and then now finding out that I was pregnant, I just feel like I'm ready now.
I mean, I agree. I think, well, one, obviously you have us girls to help support. And I have baby fever always. So it'll be amazing. And I definitely think that you obviously, financially, you're okay. You aren't much of a partier anyway. So it's not like a major lifestyle change other than like our random like trip every few months, you know? Yeah, I think it'll be good for you. You'll have something to cuddle and love and just give all your love to other than us.
I know. I'm like, who's going to be the godmother?
Oh, God, fight.
I'm like, rock, paper,
it.
scissors, shoot.
I'll be the
rock, paper,
godfather.
scissors.
Right now.
Whoever wins.
No.
Best out of 3?
Do it. Whoever wins.
Best out of 3 or?
Best 2 out of 3. Okay, ready?
Ready.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I'm scared. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Olivia is the godmother.
I'm like, you're really going to trust her with the baby over me?
So today I have my official ultrasound. Obviously, it's very scary. You know, having miscarriages in the past, I know I could go to the ultrasound today and the heartbeat could not be there anymore. And then, like, we talked about this on the podcast. So if everything is well, I'm going to be announcing it on my Instagram tonight. And then we are also starting a subscription club. So the gender reveal party is going to be the launch of that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I'm just going to keep everyone updated because there's so many moms, young moms out there, pregnant women who are going through this. So I definitely want to share my journey so that people who can relate can feel close to it and know that they're not alone.
I'm most excited about the gender reveal party because of all the desserts.
Oh my God.
And I love pastels. So if it's a girl, we have light pink everything. I'm the queen of that.
So what do you guys want me to have? I want a girl.
I mean, I want a boy.
I personally don't care either way. All of my little cousins and little brothers, they've all been obviously boys.
Yeah, I have a nephew,
so I haven't
I'm
had
ready
a little
for a girl.
Yeah.
I need a little mini me.
I'm like, I just want a guy so I can train to be the best athlete in the world.
Oh my! Who's you gonna hire a trainer? Because it ain't gonna be you.
It is gonna be me. What do you mean? I'll teach him how to figure skate, how to play basketball, how to play soccer. What else did I do?
But a
Dang,
girl,
I thought you were bad at basketball. You said
if we have a girl, it could be 4 girls, 1 kitchen.
Yeah. Oh my God. You know what? Season
Make
3.
a little apron.
Season 3 is gonna be 3 girls, 1 nursery.
1 nursery. Aw, we do it in a nursery. That's
girls,
so
1
cute.
Yeah. That'd actually be kind of funny if we changed
Trying
just
to
that.
think if there's anything else I want to talk about. Maybe like the symptoms, because I've been noticing things that other people wouldn't think would happen, especially so early on, because I'm still in the first trimester. You would think, oh, I wouldn't be having a lot of symptoms. But I went to a meeting last night with Bella Thorne's mom, and then her business partner who was at the meeting also had a baby, and we were talking about pregnancy symptoms. Mm-hmm. And you guys never believe me that I get like pregnancy brain fog. Like, I'm sure you guys are like, oh no, that's not a thing. But they were like, yes, it's very, very real.
No, I know it's a thing for sure.
Yeah, it's because the progesterone rises so high in your body that even though you're not growing a bump and your body's not changing yet, it's changing the chemistry of your body completely. Also, the other day, Olivia was like, I'm so bloated right now. I'm like, girl, you have no idea.
I'm like, me too, always. I'm always bloated. And then you're like, yeah.
This is like, guys, like, you don't understand. It's a whole other type of bloating. And it looks like I'm already pregnant, even though it's impossible. Like, the baby's not showing yet. But because of all the gas, my stomach does not, like, it's not fat, but it's like probably 4 or 5 inches bigger than usual. That's why I have this on right now.
Oh my God,
I'm like, yeah,
she's
same.
still skinny.
I'm
I'm like,
pregnant.
yeah. I'm like,
and I'm like always thinking they were gonna assume I'm the pregnant one. Remember, because I'm always bloated. I'm always covering up. I'm like, they're gonna assume it's me.
Oh my God.
Oh, technically all of us. So it was a mystery until just now. We're all covering.
Oh, that is true.
It was a mystery until the end.
I'll have to do a title where it's like they have to guess which one.
Guess which one.
So I think that's all that I wanted to cover. You know, obviously in the future, I'll probably talk about it in every episode, especially as it goes further along. And I know I'm not going to have a miscarriage, and I know everything's going really well, which things are so far. My HCG levels are in a very healthy range. I already heard the heartbeat. Things are going super well. But let's move into fan questions, and we'll talk more about this in the future. How do you deal with imposter syndrome, if you guys have ever felt that? I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me Google the definition.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know what
imposter.
that is. I've never heard
like
of
when
that.
someone's trying
Pretend to be someone they're
else.
not.
Yeah.
No. Imposter syndrome is loosely defined as doubting your own abilities and feeling like a fraud. It disproportionately affects high-achieving people who find it difficult to accept their accomplishments. Many question whether they are deserving of their accolades.
Wow.
So essentially it's saying the opposite, that you have accomplishments, but sometimes you feel down on yourself, like, wow, I don't deserve this. Do you guys ever feel like that?
Yeah. I mean, that was actually one thing that I felt in my past relationship, that I was seeing someone, I felt like I started to get scared and felt like I wasn't successful enough or good enough or I haven't accomplished enough. And I mean, I've been told, and I feel like you guys have too, that you're really hard on yourself sometimes and that you should sometimes reflect back and see everything that you've accomplished and like not forget that, you know?
I feel that way a lot just because of the life that I live now, coming from a small town with like no money, and now I'm living in a really, really nice house. And obviously I'm not the one that did it. So I'm just like, how did I get this lucky or get this life? Like, what did I do? You know?
Yeah. And do you ever feel undeserving of it? Like you're just, you know, you're sitting in the house and you're like, why does Nyjah even like me? Why does Nyjah let me live here? Like, what did I do to deserve this? Yeah. Trying to think of times that I felt like that. I know that there are definitely times that I have felt that way, maybe with certain job opportunities. I was like, wow, why am I getting this? Why are they offering this to me? But you just, if it's something that you want to do or you enjoy the life that you're living, you just have to push through that feeling and be like, no, I do deserve this. And I'm going to do the best that I can to show that I deserve this. And, you know, sometimes you could get opportunities handed to you that you aren't necessarily deserving of, or you don't necessarily have the skill and you're not fully, I don't want to say competent of doing it, but, you know, you need to improve a little bit to do the best that you can at that job or be up to the level of the expectation of what you're trying to do or achieve. And that's okay. You know, sometimes there's definitely been things in my career, in my life, where I've jumped the gun. I've done the best that I could. And it's always been enough, you know, just put yourself out there. It's not a super familiar feeling for me. So
No,
can anyone give any other advice on it?
I like the advice that you gave, putting in that effort and just putting in your 100%. Like if you feel that you are working and putting in the best that you can into something that you don't feel you deserved, then that's all that matters, is because you are still working hard at it and, you know, you're passionate about that. But also, like, you know, sometimes I've been in a situation where I felt like a loser. I feel like I haven't accomplished anything. I didn't feel successful enough, or, you know, that like, what am I doing with my life? And sometimes I've actually had advice given to me to sit yourself down and write every single thing that you've actually accomplished throughout your life, or something that you felt so good that you did that you never thought that you could. And I mean, it kind of sounds narcissistic in a way, because you're basically just writing down all the things.
At that time, you need that little boost.
Yeah, but at that time, so it's really good to just literally just sit back and think, okay, like, even if it's small things, like, you know, I learned how to hula hoop. That's an accomplishment. Not everyone can do that. There's a lot of people that are uncoordinated. So it doesn't have to be big things. It can be little things, because it is like your brain sometimes and your mind tricking you, that you get in your head thinking that you're not good enough for something.
Yeah,
or like you're a fraud.
I agree with what you're saying. And one thing, whenever I have those thoughts, I always try to remind myself of the positives. So if you have one or two negative things, why did I get this? Why did I get that? Try to remember the positive things that you have done, and it will help lift your mood and help your mind as well when you think about all of the positives.
So for my advice, Fabio himself asked, home-cooked dinner dates, yes or no? So I used to be super against it, especially, well, it depends. Like if it's a first date, maybe a little weird. But then also, as I get older and more mature, that sometimes I've had people offer that to me, and I think it's kind of cute. But it always depends on what your intentions are with a girl or a guy. Like if you're just trying to hook up and you kind of have made that clear, more likely the girl isn't going to feel comfortable coming over to your house on the first date to have a cooked meal, because it is a very intimate setting. And sometimes girls do get a little more hesitant and scared to go on a first date with a guy, even a second date on a guy who's going to have a home cooked meal, because she wants to be in a public setting because she doesn't know you that well. But if you guys have been already like talking for like a week or two and she feels comfortable enough and you've kind of just shown respect to her that, hey, if you come over to my house in this intimate setting, I'm not going to try to sleep with you or make a move, then yeah, I support it. I think it's really cute. And I personally love cooking. So I would love to be the one to like cook the meal for the person. And I did that. So
no, I love when you come and cook for me. But I think it's really cute if a guy offers to cook and have me over. I personally am not big into cooking. I'm more of a baking and like dessert, whatever. So if a guy can make a bomb dinner, I'm definitely down. But I do obviously like to go out until I'm comfortable enough with that guy, because it is more intimate and it is a one-on-one, and it might be pretty awkward if you don't know each other, even if he's not trying to hook up, but just sitting there, it might be a little bit more awkward and uncomfortable, just the two of you at his house having dinner. So it's just a comfort thing, but it is really sweet. And if you know how to cook, it's like a thoughtful effort thing, and us girls like it.
Yeah. How do you feel about it? Home cooked dinner dates, yes or no?
So on the first date, I probably would say no if I don't know the guy that well, just for safety reasons.
Yeah, that's what I had said too, yeah.
However, there are some men who like I see or I'm interested in they can't go to restaurants with me because, they'll be paparazzi'd. And so I would say if one of them wanted to make me dinner at home, I probably would say yes. I mean, I'm hoping that you're not going to turn out to be a serial killer if you're like well known and
yeah.
But I don't know, it's still sort of iffy for me. It's nice to do. I did it with my ex-boyfriend all the time. It was like a cute little thing that we would do. But for first date, I'm very like scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, depending on who you are, obviously if you are in the spotlight, just make it clear to them by saying this is why I would want this to be our first date, because then the girl will like respect you and understand, or the guy, and just think, oh, okay, like she physically or he physically cannot be out in public scene with me, so I respect it, and he made it clear to me.
And she won't think you're trying to be creepy by inviting her over to your house.
Yeah.
But it is a cute little thing after you guys get to know each other. My ex and I would do that all the time as well.
Well, I wish we had a sponsor from what was that one?
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh. Yeah,
like
because
HelloFresh, we miss
perfect
you.
for that.
Okay. So this says, I feel guilty accepting nice gifts from the rich man I'm dating. How can I reciprocate his love? So what I would say is, obviously if you're dating, I wouldn't feel guilty necessarily unless you're trying to guilt trip him and tell him to buy you these things. But if he's doing this out of like the bottom of his heart and he really likes you and he's doing it to surprise you and whatnot, don't feel guilty. But if you feel like you need to pay him back and you physically don't have the money like he does, what I like to do is, I'm a very affectionate, touchy person. So I do massages often. I'll do, back massages, little hand massages. I like to do like little skincare facial nights. So I'll like little skincare routine on them, like massage their face. Just surprise them with little gifts that they might not like. Cologne, or if they have desserts or the favorite foods.
Cook for them,
little small things. It doesn't have to be about money, but it's about like affection and just that you were thinking of them. Even if you brought back something small from the store and you're like, I know this is your favorite candy bar and I saw it, made me think of you. That's all that matters to them, because if they have their own money, they are not looking for you to splurge on them. They're looking for you to, show love and affection. That's pretty much what you can do.
Yeah, if they're showing their love through gift giving, you can reciprocate showing love through other things like acts of service. Like she said, giving them a massage, cooking dinner for them, or quality. I mean, not necessarily quality. I mean, quality time's good too. But, if they're going out and giving you this tennis bracelet, maybe be like, wow, that was so sweet of you. I want to cook you dinner tonight. Then I want to give you a massage. Try to think of what you think is equal in terms of what you can give, whether it's quality time, love, acts of service. There's always things that you can do. And like Alexa said, if they already have all the money and they're just giving things to you because they can, they're not expecting that back from you. They probably don't want anything in return besides the love that you're giving them. And that's why they're gifting you, because they appreciate you so much.
I'm like, well, my self-sabotaging self would definitely say he might be love bombing you, and you should be very careful because
we're working
excessive
on not being
gift
negative.
giving.
We're working on not being negative.
I know. I'm kidding, but there's always some truth to the joke. No, because here's the thing. If she feels guilty, and that's an issue, that is a form of love bombing. And if she feels extremely overwhelmed that he's giving her all these excessive gifts because he's trying to, gain control over her, she shouldn't feel obligated to constantly return the favors. So it also depends what the situation is. Does she feel extremely guilty, or does she just feel like he's just genuinely rich and can just afford to do whatever? So, if it's that case, then honestly just have a talk with him. Be like, hey, look, you give me so many things excessively. Like, I feel constantly that I need to repay you. And, I don't want you to always overwhelm me with gifts. Maybe it's just not for me. So it's something you have a talk with them about, and they'll respect it. They'll understand and back off, because the most important part in the relationship is that you don't want to feel overwhelmed, and you don't want that person to feel like they have to or are obligated to return the favor, whether it is a massage or it is just another gift.
Well, I just was rereading it. So she didn't say it was excessive or anything. It's probably, I've been in that case too, where someone gets you something really nice and you don't have the money and you feel like you need to repay them. He might not be doing anything bad at all. It's just yourself, like, you're conscious and you just don't want to feel like you might be using them. So it obviously can go either or. But yeah, I reread it. She doesn't say it's like anything excessive. She's just
normal.
curious. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up today's podcast, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, make sure that you head over to Apple. You can listen on there 3 days sooner.
Bye.
Bye.